Hello, everybody. Welcome to Absolutely Obscure with Josh and Rory. I'm Rory.
I'm Josh.
And this is a podcast where we talk about movies you've never heard of. And today, what we talk about, Josh?
We're talking about, I didn't write down the year. Out of Reach, which you have to be specific because there's apparently a Steven Seagal movie.
Yeah, that was known, so that's not on our podcast.
Is it known?
It's more known than this one.
More known than this one, that's fair.
We are talking about the 2013 movie Out of Reach, which was directed by George Ershbaumer, and it has a 4.7 on IMDb.
Really?
With 278 votes. Seems a little high for you from that sly comment. And it has 49 people have seen this on Letterboxd.
Okay.
This stars Erin Carplock. Did you recognize her at all?
I did, only because the marketing for Being Erica was out of control.
It was insane. If you are not Canadian,
you probably don't know what we're talking about.
This is. If you are Canadian, the marketing for Being Erica is burned into your fucking memory.
I took 0.5 seconds to be like, oh, that's Being Erica. I've never seen an episode of the show. And I was like, that's her.
Literally no idea what it is about. I'm pretty sure she travels through time. I think that's the plot of Being Erica.
Don't tell me that, because then I'll want to watch Being Erica. I don't need that in my life.
Anyways, Erin Carpluck, and then we also have Lachlan Monroe, who I was happy to see.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. I never remember his name, but me and my friends all really love Dead Man on Campus, and then Scary Movie, the original one.
Yeah, he's kind of like a guy that everyone knows. He's short. I don't know. He seems quite like a short guy, but he's been in lots of horror movies, lots of comedies from like the mid 2000s. He was kind of all over the place for a while.
I mean, he's got 281 credits, which is not insane. Like he's in so many things.
Yeah. And they are a married couple, and he has a secret that starts taking over his life.
Yes.
What do you think of Out of Reach, Josh?
I mean, if you love Hallmark movies or that kind of stuff, Lifetime movies, maybe check it out.
If you like bad movies, this one might be good for you.
That's right. Yeah, it was I think we kind of maybe briefly talked. It was just people making a movie, so I'm happy the people in it got paid and they hung out for a couple days. But,
there is one moment in this that I got super excited for. I guarantee it's the exact same spot where we were both just like, wait, do I know these people?
So funny. I bet it's the same part as well.
Yeah, it's got to be.
So what? We're gonna
dive right into this thing because this is a fairly bare bones.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be a lot of substance with this one.
No. Thank you for tuning in, folks.
Stick around to watch all the substance we talk about.
So we open on it's our husband wife. Do you have their names written down?
Matthew and Lynn.
The Connors, yes. And they live in a cookie cutter neighborhood, suburbs area, white picket fence kind of thing.
Yes.
Legitimately looks like any single street you would turn down in like a suburban area. They have a big old house. They have a single daughter. She's like 12 years old, I believe.
Paige, I think her name is.
And we open on them. They're having friends over, neighbors over. They're cooking.
Having a barbecue. The friends also have a daughter that's like around the same age or whatever.
Yes.
We the only really thing we glean from this is we find out like they're eating turkey burgers because we assume for some reason Matthew
recently had a heart attack.
Yes. And they say that he was eating healthier and was a little bit scary, a little bit of a it woke him up to
woke him up a little bit.
He was like, I just want to contribute to the world. Basically, was the big take he had from all that.
Yes, he wants to do better. He wants to explore more.
Yeah, basically. They also ask how his business is going.
Yes.
And he says the ad business it's kind of limping along ever since the heart attack. We lost some clients. And
now, Josh, do the writers or directors or stars of this movie know what an ad person does in any way, shape, or form by chance.
It sure doesn't come out. I know that they know the word accounts.
Yes.
Someone saw an episode of Mad Men one time and
wrote accounts and circled it 5 times.
That's literally the only ad talk we get through this whole movie is, guess what? We got the McLaughlin accounts. Oh my God, that's amazing.
And our accounts are doing amazing now. And like, you might be thinking like, oh, well, it's a family drama. How much does it's a lot about
it's
the
very
accounts.
much revolves around the business.
The business is a big part of this movie, and they never explain what he does what.
What do you need to know?
Yeah.
He's in ads.
He's an ad. He's an ad man.
Yeah, and then so like they're walking the friends out of the door, saying goodbye, and Matthew notices this strange SUV slowing down.
Yes.
And they just kind of keep driving. And the wife's like, oh, do you know them? And he's like, nope. Not a clue.
Don't know them.
Mom's tucking the daughter in, and she says she hates school.
Yes.
And she's like, no, you don't.
No, you don't. You love school.
Yeah, you're just...
End of conversation.
Guess what? You're going to school. So
yeah.
Yes.
And then they're in their bed together.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, is this what our lives should be?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, you have such a good life.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
This is
massive.
kind of
Another person with a job a failing business with an amazing house.
Yes.
This comes up so often.
Very much so. Amazing house, loving wife, loving daughter. And he's like, yeah, but what if there's more, you know? What if I can have everything?
Why can't I just have everything that I want? I don't understand. And then so next morning they're ripping off to school and work and stuff. And she's like, oh, don't forget, we have drinks with this other set of friends.
Yes.
A.K.A. we can tell by their demeanor, the annoying friends we don't really like hanging out with.
Yeah, yeah. And it should be noted that here she also brings up, like, she used to be a teacher, and she's like, maybe I should go back to teaching. And he's like, no. But I'm like, if you're having money troubles, maybe don't have your wife be a stay-at-home mom for your single 12-year-old daughter.
Also, you know what? That's so funny. I totally missed that line because another big through line of this is like, this man never feels listened to.
No.
And she offered up a pretty good solution to their problems, and he's like, no thanks.
No, you stay at home, honey, and I don't know, drink wine all day, I guess. Like, she has nothing to do. This house is spotless. They have a 12-year-old daughter who goes to school all day.
And Rory's not just pulling that out of nowhere. She drinks, like, they drink wine frequently in this movie. To the point where one time the daughter's like, all right, you've had enough wine.
So we cut to him at his office. Yeah. He has a secretary. This is Bonnie.
Yeah.
She is the only other employee of this company.
The big ad agency with 2 employees.
With 2 employees, one of whom is a secretary.
Who apparently just seems to be taking calls about people being like, we're not with you anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Thanks.
Also, she looks exactly like his wife.
Yeah. There's a lot of just plain, like, Jane-looking women that I'm constantly like, is this the same? Like, the secretary becomes a different person at one point. It took me a few minutes to realize.
Yes. Mostly because it should be noted, literally not a single person of color in this movie. No. The whitest cast you possibly could have. I think that they have one black man who acts as like a menacing, silent guy at one point.
That's right. This is a security guy. That's good.
Yeah. So he's at the office, and I think he's just kind of down in the dumps. We see him at the office, so this isn't really working. Does he get a visit from the people at this point?
It's so it's not till after, so they go for drinks. Oh, right. He's so glum that he kind of loses track of the day.
Yes.
And then the wife calls him like, hey, I hope you didn't forget, we're going for drinks tonight. In 10 minutes.
I think I don't know if he was so glum. I think he like intentionally was just like,
that could be.
I think he's like, he's putting actually depressed.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like, I wish that heart attack had taken me. I would have gone out on top, baby.
And then so the wife, he's like, just get whatever this guy to talk about his car or something stupid, and they'll stall, and I'll get there.
Yeah.
So she's with these 2 annoying people, and he finally shows up, and that guy's life is so great, and I don't know. He's got some hot wife.
Yeah,
and,
he has a hot young wife. He has a nice car,
and he's basically about to be like, ooh, if you want to know the secret to my success, and then the wife's like, actually, sorry, we have to go pick up our daughter, so we got to take off. And he's like, okay, well, we'll continue this conversation later.
At a later date.
And then, because they drove separately, this is when the lady, like, so the wife takes off to go pick up the daughter.
Right.
He's outside. The same SUV from before pulls up, and she's like, hey, introduce her name's Diane. I don't even know if you find that out right now, but...
I don't believe so. I don't think we find out her name now. She is played by Jamie Luner, who I believe was on Melrose Place.
Yeah.
Did you recognize her?
No, I know I've seen her and stuff. But I was just I haven't started my Melrose Place watch yet.
That's surprising.
Well, it's coming because I'm in the middle of 90210 right now. So
and you got to get to the point where you can watch one and then the other one as they play.
I mean, technically, I'm there. So I got to start Melrose after this season, but. It'll be exciting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to. More
right.
Melrose talk coming your way, folks, in the near future.
You better believe it. She basically gets out and gives him a business card, and it says Innovation Business Coaching. And he's kind of like, oh, how do you even know I own a business to be coached in? And she kind of just like, and like walks away.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Yes. And then...
Oh, I think they're in bed later?
Yeah, they are in bed.
Yeah.
And she is trying to seduce him.
That's right. She comes in the teddy and stuff.
Yeah, and it should be no door wide open. This is the second time that she has tried to have sex with her husband with the door completely open.
They have an open door policy in the house. Yeah. And she's trying to basically, make like, hey, we're about to have sex, right? And he's kind of just like, okay, well, good night. Turns the light off, and her face like, oh, all right. Yeah.
What a terrible life this guy has. Right. A hot, horny wife who who lives in his mansion.
Yeah, no, it's a sad one.
Yeah.
And then through the middle of the night, there's like someone walking around the house. Definite like voice, like steps happening in the halls.
Yeah.
And so he kind of gets up to investigate. I think he grabs a baseball bat at some point, and then she kind of comes to and is like, oh, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I heard something. And then she's just like, without even listening for a second, she's like, come back to bed. It was probably nothing. And he just does.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, how often are someone actually going to break into your house? In this movie, a lot. But in life in general.
I'm always going to check now after this movie.
In this movie, it might be someone trying to put you in a cult.
Indoctrinate me into a new belief system.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I think this is a cult.
Yeah. Very much gave off cult vibes.
Very much gave off cult vibes, except for the fact that it doesn't seem to stand for anything or have any beliefs. But we'll get into it.
Yeah. So the next day he has a meeting with the consultants. I think it also might start with the wife calling. And the secretary's like, oh, he's in a meeting with the consultants.
Yes, and she's like, what consultants?
Yeah, he would have surely told me if he had a meeting with some consultants. And then we cut to the room, and the lady from the night before is in there, and she's kind of giving the
she's like,
baseline what
and
they
he's
do.
Like, well, who have you worked with? And she's like,
there's another creepy man there too.
Yes, there's Seth. He's a creepy British man, and he's like, well, who have you worked with? And she's like, oh, just Google,
Apple, Virgin, Microsoft.
And at this point, you would think he'd be like,
any follow-up questions?
Why are you coming to me?
Right? The fifth company in that is what's it? Connor Collective.
Connor Collective. Yeah, that's right up there with the big five.
Yeah, no, absurd. And I love that, he didn't ask what they did for those companies.
No follow-up questions.
They said those four names, and he's like, interesting. Yeah, okay. Playing with the big boys now. It's like, no, not any follow-up whatsoever. Oh, man.
Not follow-up including, what do you do in general?
Yeah. This is another movie, too. I know we've talked about this in the past, but there is like, and it was actually that other, the first movie we did, Fatal Secrets, very also Lifetime-esque, where, man, they just jump cut to the next scene. You have, like, you can assume it's that night, but who actually knows? They're just on the couch. They're, like, watching a movie. The daughter picked it. So I was like, speaking of bad movies, we catch the end of what seems like some sort of toxic shark movie.
Right. Yes.
It's like you hear the daughter say, I want to pick the movie tonight. Or the dad says, you can pick tonight. And then just cut to the end of the movie. There's just screeching, ungodly screeching, and like these sharks swimming, the worst CGI.
Yeah.
And then it's just like the end. It was like our end of House of Wolfmen, just out of nowhere.
And it's just like, okay, did they make this fake movie for this specific scene?
It felt very like a fake movie.
But also, why would they spend the money on that?
That's true. Maybe that movie's out there and maybe we'll watch it someday.
We'll probably watch it someday. I do have more movies by this director on the possible list. So
and then she's immediately like, that's the worst movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And he like gets on her for like, you just got to be happy. This is problem thinking you're having. It's like,
all right. Immediately he's like, hey, listen, I am in a cult, by the way. After sitting with these people for 20 minutes.
Yeah, listen, if you know any man in the world who like is pro gaslighting, do not show them this movie because this guy does it like crazy in this thing.
Yes,
falls immediately into it.
I will say though that the wife sometimes can say stuff where I'm just like, you're not. She at one point after watching the movie, the daughter's just like, that was a really bad movie, and the wife's just like, I think she should be in gifted classes.
Yeah, right.
And like with full sincerity too.
That's what. And the other thing is too, or I guess it's the next day. Sorry, with the whole the movie thing, he says she should be in gifted classes.
Yes,
and she's like, nah, just playing middle of the road or whatever.
Right.
Just why would you change anything if it's good? And he's like, that's the problem with you.
Fine is enough.
Right. It's like, what the fuck is happening in this household?
What life are you? How do you think that you just have it fine is insane to me.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Mm-hmm. And then they're in bed again, and the consultants. The phone rings.
The phone rings. Yeah. It's the consultants, and she's like, "They're calling you now
at 11:30," and then again, he's just like, "Okay, good night." Turn off the light, and she's
horny.
That's so all. Horny. That's everything would be solved on her end if he just gave it up. Yep.
Fuck your wives, guys.
Yeah. The next morning, he's like working out in the backyard, and she's kind of like, "Oh, want some coffee?" And he's like, "No," and she's like, "Wait, what?" This must be a big personality trait that he loves coffee.
never talked about before. Never mentioned.
And then he's like, "No, wheatgrass. That's what we need." So he's changing, I guess. And this was another weird move by the wife. I thought this next part because she stops by the office.
Yes,
and this is where we find out. Bonnie's gone. New receptionist there.
Yes.
And she's again like kind of like, oh, another thing he didn't tell me about at work, which fair. But then she's like, oh, he's in like an important meeting. He said like specifically nobody bother him.
Yeah.
And she's like, nah, I'm just going to go in there. She barges in this meeting. And he's like, what are you doing? And then there's all these weirdos there. Like he said, the henchmen, and they're like taking notes, I guess. Do henchmen take notes? Is that something they do?
We never find out what anyone in this cult is doing at any given point of time. No. We don't find out their motives. We don't find out why he was targeted specifically.
No. And then they kind of, I think they talk a little bit contract stuff here where they seem to be buying half his business.
Yes, they buy half the business. And she keeps being like, what are you talking about? This is our business. And I'm like, is she part of this business?
It's maybe they don't mention it before this conversation, so that's why the barging seems so crazy because it's like it doesn't seem like she works there.
But then it's also at the end it's revealed that she didn't.
So the only thing they do mention at some point, I think, is that she sometimes does the books.
Yes,
which I'm guessing means the accounting for I don't know, Bonnie, the only fucking employee that works there.
Oh man, they are bankrupting this guy after hiring 500% more employees than he had before. But yeah, because at the end, spoiler alert, they don't die at this cult or whatever. There's literally no threat in this movie whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it's revealed that now that I have my partner in marriage and in business.
Yeah.
So she wasn't ever part of the business, I don't think, outside of like just doing some stuff here and there.
I don't think she like put in money or whatever.
So she kept being like, this is our business. He's like, what are you talking about?
And then so she's at home. He's now saying what he signed, like, yes, they're 50% owners, and she's kind of like, what are you doing? Like making these decisions. Yeah. This is risking our daughter's future, right? And now you have to make twice as much. And then he's like, I knew you would overreact.
I'm just like, she's reacting kind of. Yes. She's taking this pretty well.
He's such a prick to her all the time. It's great.
Also, they're back at the restaurant that they had the dinner with.
I love that they keep going back to this restaurant.
Yeah, they definitely had this restaurant for like one day, and they're just like, let's film as much as we can in this one place.
Yeah.
And you can tell that they had no extras. They had extras for a single scene in this movie. At any other time, the restaurant is empty. All the streets are empty. Everywhere.
Yeah. No, they didn't have any budget.
No.
The cast is barely there. It's like,
yeah. We got Lachlan. I think is doing an okay job.
Yeah,
Lachlan's doing his best.
I would say the actors did okay with what they were given. You know.
Yeah, I bet if he was asked about it, he would probably be like, listen, I got a chance to be the lead in a movie.
He'd probably be like, and it'd probably be like, out of reach. Which one was that again?
Oh, which one? Yeah. I've been in 213 movies, guy.
I have a line in my notes that I don't understand currently. What do you got next?
Oh, I have punishment for sex, fire. I don't know what that means. I can't remember what that means.
Oh, okay. I know what that means. So I think there's a couple things before that. He basically finally offers up like, hey, why don't you come to a meeting? And this is where you kind of see her being like, she's like, okay, yeah, I will come to the meeting. And then he's like, okay, I'm going to ask if it's okay. And she's kind of annoyed. Yeah. And then he's like, you react so violently. She literally like kind of rolled her eyes. Yeah. It's insane. And then the next day, he's locked down the biggest account of his life for, we assume, whatever ads means.
Yes. And, I'm going to ads real good for them.
And then that night, finally, screws her brains out. Thank God. Yes. Okay. And then he rolls over and he's like, we can't do that often. And she's like, no, because your heart, the doctor said it's fine. And he's like, no, it's releasing essential tensions.
Yes.
It lowers the vibration. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I got to go shower and clean the circuits. And she's like, what? And then, this is where he's showering. And all of a sudden, a small fire gets set in their backyard.
Yes.
And so,
which never comes up again.
No.
Doesn't make any sense.
No.
So I guess I wrote down just like, is this punishment for having sex?
I think so. I think just light something on fire in their backyard.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess that we're revealing some things about this cult I never thought about before because it's the rare non-sex cult.
Yeah.
It's a very anti-sex cult.
In fairness, I feel like that's how they all start. I feel like it's the guy at the top who always gets the.
That's true.
Yeah.
We'll meet him later.
And then we cut to, I think it's like her and the friend that the first dinner was with, the blonde, the neighbor.
Yes.
And they're just kind of like chit-chatting, and she's like, I don't know about this group of people that my husband's getting into. And then she offers like, oh, if you want her husband must be a lawyer or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
think so.
Or
He's either a lawyer
or something.
I think he might be a detective.
That could be.
Because he does some like research later on.
She's like, do you want him to look into these people? And she's like, nah, that's okay. I'll just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we cut to, again, boom, in a meeting. Their meeting seems to be them sitting in a almost pentagram type symbol and like ohming. They're just,
yes.
And then Matthew's cell phone goes off and they are so pissed off.
So mad. You cannot have that here.
And then I think they come in and say something about they opened a bank account in his name, and he's like, excuse me? And they're like, no, it just works better for the business and the taxes. And he's like, okay. Doesn't question it. All right.
But perfect. He's also on the phone with his wife and he's whispering and she keeps being like, why are you whispering? He's like, don't quit asking why I'm whispering.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, then the lady Diane who recruited him says something about like, "Whoa, man, these meetings they're just getting to me. It's crazy the experience." And she's like, "We haven't even touched you yet." Like, wink, wink. Who knows what's going on? And and then I think during that whisper phone call too, he's also like, "By the way, I got another big account." So she's kind of pissed still, but also like, congratulations. Like, she doesn't know how to feel.
Yes. And it's also like, I guess they are a good cult in that they're good at their job if they keep getting these actual accounts.
This is the thing with cults. This is how they lure you in, right? And this, when they're on the phone, he's like, "I'm not allowed to be on the phone," because she keeps being. She's like, "Why are you whispering?" And he's like, "I locked down this big account just so you know." And then she's like, "That's great. Hey, by the way, can we get back to the fact that you're whispering?" And he's like, "Oh my God, why are you always bringing up old issues?"
I'm not supposed to be on a phone during phase 1. And he hangs up, and she's like, "What are you talking about?"
He hangs up on her in this movie so many times. And then cut to at the house, she's alone, and creepy Seth shows up.
Yep.
And she's on the phone, and the daughter goes to answer the door.
Yes.
And then she comes, and Seth's like chit-chatting with the daughter.
And he's like, "Oh, I never figured out brains."
Yeah, it's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
And then so she's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, "Oh, Matthew sent me over," whatever. She's like, "I was just on the phone with him." And he's like, he's not supposed to be on the phone.
Yes.
She's not during phase 1. And she's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then he also mentions, he's like, "Oh, you should change the locks on these doors. It's very easy to break in."
The most and like I don't want to rag on this guy, but he's not good enough to really sell the creepiness of this, because it should be like, these doors are very easy to break in. But he doesn't do that. He just kind of like, these doors are kind of easy to break in.
he's just collecting a check.
Yeah.
They just picked a face out of a pile. It's like, creepy? Yeah, hire him. Okay.
Yeah. Creepy, British. Yeah.
Oh, and then he's getting dropped off after the meeting, and he's just like, "Yeah, what an amazing experience." And she again's putting out these vibes like, "Oh, how fully, deeply do you want to live?" And he's just like, "Okay, I'm gonna go now." Like goes out and then the wife's pissed because she's like, "Why didn't you drive home?" He's like, "Was too good of an experience."
I nutted too hard, couldn't drive.
And she's basically like, "Are you fucking this thing?"
100%. It definitely was like, "Sorry, I came so hard, I blacked out, and they had to drive me home." Which, I mean, who hasn't?
Yeah. And then I think this is where he starts tossing out like language, and he's like, because she's like, "What is this with this Diane?" He's like, "She's a conductor." And then she's like, "What does that mean?" He's like, "That's such a non-conductor thing to say." She's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
She also, at this point during this argument, says, "You used to be so charismatic and funny and smart." I'm like, "What?"
Not since we've started the movie.
We've never seen that. You're relying too heavily on Lachlan Monroe just being Lachlan Monroe for that to work.
And I think he maybe says this in, this might be, because do they invite people? Or it says something about his journey, and sometimes he feels like he's being took over. Oh, she's explaining this, I think, to the friend maybe. That she's like, because she's on the phone now with her. So he's confided in her a little bit of things. Like, yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm being took over by this group. But then something happens. Oh, he is telling her, sorry. And he's like, so I go somewhere in my mind and my soul that I've never been before. Again, totally sounds like he's banging this chick.
Yes.
And she's like, "Go there with me. You don't need them.
Please, I've been begging you night after night to go there with me."
And he's like, "You don't own me." It's so fucking weird, man. And then I think he's supposed to go on a retreat.
So this is the moment that was this the moment you were talking?
Oh, no, but I know what you're bringing up. Yes.
So I think it's the next day.
Yeah.
He's on the phone with her again.
Yeah.
So much of this movie is just conversations on phones.
A lot of it.
So boring to watch. But he's like, "Listen, I'm going to go on a retreat to Swift Current."
They say Swift Current.
I thought he said to Swift Current.
It does, yeah.
At that moment,
we're both from Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan, there's a city called Swift Current, and I was just like, "Is this set in Saskatchewan?"
100%. I was like, "What is going on? Why is there a retreat center in Swift Current?"
Yes, I was so confused.
I don't know.
It's later revealed that the cult is called Swift Current.
Yes.
Which
it still took me far too many times to realize, because the way they were speaking about it, I was like, it doesn't sound like a town, but yeah.
And at one point later on, they'll go to another town, and like I looked up that town, being like, there is a town like that in Alberta, so I guess this is set in Alberta.
It has to be set in the prairies.
But then
That's
it was
all we
on
know.
an ocean front. I'm just like, that doesn't make sense.
No, I don't know where this movie was set.
It's set in California.
Okay.
I did look it up afterwards.
Perfect. So
we can retreat to not a good conductor. Oh, at this point also now people are following Lynn. the wife.
She's dropping her daughter off at school, and we look up and we see the two menacing guys that were also in the meeting that she barged into.
Yes.
And she starts to freak out, and, like understandably. She goes home now. She like races home because she's all freaking out, and the door's
broken
wide
in,
open.
yeah.
And Seth's in there, and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And he's like, "Oh, I came to fix the door." And she's like,
the door wasn't broken.
And then she's like, "How'd you get in?" And he's like, "Oh, Matthew gave me his key." And she's like, "I'm gonna call him right now." And he's like, "He won't be happy." Like, very creepy stuff.
Yes.
And then forget.
So now the PI friend or lawyer friend did end up doing some digging. And shows up is just like, you need to avoid these people.
Yeah.
They have a trail of like not bodies, just like bankruptcies and frauds
all
and stuff.
these charges that they've evaded basically because they keep going to this swift current keeps coming to their rescue or whatever. They never got charged with anything. And
he's like, number one rule, don't let them in your house.
Yeah.
And she's like, fuck.
Which I think the husband has already said, hey, by the way, next few weeks we're going to have them over for a thing. And she's like, oh, great.
Well, also because he's already been in the house multiple times.
Yeah, very strange.
So now I believe that we go to the spot where Lynn decides to actually sit in on one of these meetings.
It's the one that they bring to the house.
Yes.
So they're there, and they're doing the same thing, like the ohms and stuff, and
a bunch of new age bullshitty stuff.
They have
and
like a
Lynn is not taking any of it, and they're like, "Okay, everyone clear." Like,
This is exactly how I would act in one of these sessions.
And she's like rolling her eyes and stuff, and somebody's like, "Someone's not clearing."
Lynn won me over big time in this part. I loved it. And she thinks it's bogus, which it is, and they're all annoyed she's not doing it. And then because they're all holding hands as well, so the lady Diane has the husband's hand. She gives him like an extra little caress, and the wife clocks it.
Imagine this was your dick.
Basically, yeah. And the wife clocks it. I believe this is where they cut to upstairs, and she's like, "You're sleeping with her, aren't you?" And he's like, "No."
I think they cut to the kitchen because they get into an argument in the kitchen, and then they're still there. This isn't after they've left. They're still there because they come in after Lachlan Monroe storms out.
That's so funny.
And she I believe she calls her a childless bitch.
Yes.
She calls Diane
that was great.
Bitch.
Which she basically is like, you know people pretty well. It's like, oh, she actually clocked what this lady's trouble is. That's awesome.
And they keep being like, oh, you keep getting emotional. Stop getting emotional. And
you're jealous of his new success and you're not a part of it.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even know him well and stuff like that.
I don't know if you've ever watched the movie Equilibrium.
I haven't actually. I know about it though.
It's terrible. But it has something similar where I have to say, any writers out there, you know what is a very uncompelling thing? Having people be emotionless as a directive.
Yeah.
That's what all these people are like, no, if you have to be emotionless. You're letting your emotions control it. And it's so boring to watch.
Yeah, and like it's funny because she's like, do you see this? This is a wedding ring and it represents our marriage. And she's like, that's a piece of metal on your finger. And she's like, you're hurting him, sucking the life out of him. And they're like, yes, your Matthew is dying and ours is about to be born. It's like there was a part of me that's like, are these aliens? What has happened? This seems like a terrible invasion of the body snatchers.
If there was any actual menace behind these people, it would be so much better. It would improve the movie so much if there was like, it's not just frauds and stuff. Like there's some murders attached to them or
totally.
Stuff. But,
and so the wife now has had it. She's packing bags and she's like, we're out of here. And he's like, and she's basically like, come with us or it's over.
Yeah.
And
we're going to our timeshare.
Yeah, that's right. They have a timeshare
on the otionfront property.
Yeah. And he actually caves. He's like in a meeting the next day. And first of all, the rich lady from hot wife from the people they had supper with.
Yes.
She rolls up in her car.
Yes,
and
right.
And then, because this is as the daughter and the mom are leaving.
Yes, and she's told Lachlan Monroe, don't tell anyone where we're going.
That's right.
And then she mentions to the hot wife, the young hot wife, that, we're going here.
Yeah.
So, and she looks basically at the camera.
Oh my God. I was like, this is the least shocking fucking turn since like the Emperor and what's his face in Star Wars. Who could and then so we cut to the meeting and Lachlan isn't telling the lady, like, even though she's trying to pry and be like, where are you going? He's like, I'm not allowed to say. I promised my wife I wouldn't tell anybody. And
then she kisses him.
That's right.
She's about to leave, and he kisses back.
He does.
He wants to stay.
He cuts it off, but not very quickly.
No. And then while the horn is honking on the outside,
she's outside laying on the horn. It's so great. And they're driving up, and he like is asleep in the passenger seat. Wakes up, and he's like, "Oh man, I had a crazy dream where we were pulled out of the car and like kidnapped." And she's like, oh, "Excuse me." This is I think where they're drinking all day, and the daughter's like, "You guys have had enough wine."
Yes.
And he's kind of like, "Oh, maybe I should call the office," and they also now this makes so much more sense with this scene that you're talking about, the open door, because they're basically talking about the first time they fucked right in front of their daughter.
Yeah.
Like, oh, remember that night? And she's like, I had to have so much wine. I was so nervous. And the daughter's like, what were you nervous for? And she's like, and the husband's like, swimming in the ocean. It's like, okay. And
and
cut to them having sex again.
Yeah.
And he's fucking going to town, and she's like, go slow. And he's like, I thought you wanted this. It's so fucking crazy. And he immediately rolls over all pissed off, and she like leaves the house, and they have a confrontation on the beach.
Yes.
It's so fucking crazy, man.
You wanted me to fuck you. Let me fuck you. This is the man I am now.
It's so weird. Oh my God. And she's like outside me, and like he's like, do you want to talk about it? She's like, we're not even allowed to have sex. I doubt you're allowed to talk about anything. And she basically says, like, if you're not gonna stop for me, think about Paige. Stop for her, kind of thing.
We cut to the next day. It's very cold on this beach. They came not during the summer.
Yeah. I think that's when a lot of stuff gets filmed out there, sadly.
Yeah. And then they are on the beach in full clothing. They're not going swimming at all. He's in like a full like office attire, basically.
They only had the one wardrobe for him.
And they're building a sandcastle, and he's like, oh, I have to. No, she leaves. She leaves. She has to go get, I can't remember, something from the room.
Yeah. And we see the SUV driving around. Yes,
Diane and Seth show up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they come down to the beach. Yeah. And they take him and Paige away.
Yeah. So Lynn is upstairs, sees it out the window, but she can't run down fast enough. And then she apparently in the meantime calls the cops, and it cuts to the cop there, and he's like, sorry, your husband left willingly with these people that he is in business with. We can't really do anything.
Yeah, that does not sound like a kidnapping.
Yeah, and well, I think this is she tossed out like, no, they're like a cult. And he's like, yeah, but if he signed papers, like, I don't think we can help you with this, you need a lawyer.
Yeah, imagine going away from beach and then you come back and like you get divorced because she now gets a call from him and he's like, that's right. I'm sending you the papers. I've signed them already. We're getting a divorce.
Yeah, and I've taken the daughter. Like she's mine now.
It's just so crazy. I feel like that's not how this works. I feel like there's a bit more to it. So she, of course, contacts who you would, your cult expert, your local cult expert.
That's right. She surfs the net, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
And she finds a man who who was in this cult and then left it, and now he's a deprogrammer. And is he good at his job, Josh? Or is he the worst deprogrammer?
I mean, I also thought, I don't know about you, mate, but I saw the look at this guy. Yeah. He's just greasy and unwashed, and I was like, this guy's 100% going to be in the cult. Like,
my thought was that, like, oh, he's never been in this cult. He's just a scammer.
He'll get scammed another time. That would be awesome.
Oh, man. I think that would probably be I don't want to say this would be an easy scam to run, but but there's only so many people who can claim, yeah, I was in a cult. I can help you.
I'll get you out of this cult for $1 million. She's and she also I think calls the old secretary, right? And like and she's like, yeah, she's the one who like said like, oh, she gives her more info and like, oh, I looked into this Diana lady and these Swift Current people and they always get out of trouble. So just more things of like them sidestepping the law.
Yeah.
And
I think she's the one who gives him the name.
The guru dude? That would make sense. Yeah. Or whatever he is. I don't know.
The deprogrammer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't write down his name.
I did not write down his name. I had Greasy Bastard. Greasy Fat Bastard. And like if this was a big budget movie, this would be like the and kind of person. Like at the end of the credits, this would be like the big name.
Yeah, 100%.
No, this is nobody.
This is the least recognizable guy I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. This is
so now she tells him, okay. She calls him. She's like, "Is Paige okay?" And he looks at Paige, and she looks terrified, of course. And then he doesn't say anything. He's like, "I'm coming by the house to get some things."
Oh yeah, I'm coming to pick up Paige's things. That's right, because we do finally see the lead guy. His name's L.
Yes.
And yeah.
How would you describe this man's look, Josh?
I mean, he was also gross. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I was like, oh, this guy at least looked at a picture of Steve Ranieri and was like, I'll just be that guy.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he, because, and then, in the most least shocking reveal of all time, Rachel's there, which is like, of course.
Yeah. Rachel, the hot wife.
Hot wife, yes.
So now Lachlan Monroe is going to go to the house. He's going to go in by himself.
Yeah.
Before he gets there, she's sitting there with the deprogrammer. And he's like,
these people, they move towns every couple of years. That's why they're never caught. And like, we're going to have to bombard this guy. Or sorry, you're going to have to. I'll be here.
Yeah.
But in the back, you just remind them of your past together. Make all these happy memories. That's the only way we're going to willingly get him out of this.
Agree with everything he's saying. Yes. Be kind to him. And she's like, well, what are you going to do? He's like, you won't see me or hear me. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
That's why I was literally like, oh, this guy's a creep and he's in the cult. Yeah, for sure.
So Lachlan Monroe shows up, Matthew. They go upstairs, collect his things, and she's like, oh, do you remember this picture of her on the beach and stuff?
Hey, look at my wedding dress.
Yes. Literally pulls out her wedding dress. And he's just like,
the look on his face is like, what are you doing?
Listen, even if I wasn't this cult, this would be weird. And then my favorite part was he comes downstairs and the deprogrammer who wasn't going to be seen or heard
in front of the door being like, don't leave. And Matthew, and then the best, she's like, Matthew's like, a deprogrammer.
It's just like, wait, do you know you're in a cult?
Right? That's what I don't understand. It's like, that's definitely not the lingo that they would use in the cult.
Oh, man. Oh, man, you're going to try and convince me to not be in this cult now, aren't you?
Oh, shit. That's so funny. And then Lachlan, after freaking out because he's trying to talk him down about how these people aren't good, and Lachlan I'm just calling him his name, but he punches him in the face.
Yeah.
And then
it should be known the deprogrammer, by a way of trying to convince him to not be in this cult, he's like, they beat me, they robbed me, and Lachlan's just like, oh God,
when are you gonna shut up?
Who cares? Wow.
Oh man.
They get into like a bit of a fight. Who punches who?
he punches the deprogrammer in the face, and then I think he screams at the mom, so like, "You're no longer Paige's mom."
Yes,
which is like, I don't think you have the authorization to say that.
Yeah,
just deem it so. And
the fact that she keeps going after him after all this stuff, after being so easily brought into this cult,
and then I also love this part too. Oh, sorry.
No.
Yeah, the deprogrammer like grabs her and it's like, you have to let him go. They immediately jump in a car and start falling. I'm like, what is going on?
Immediately. And like, not in like I'm tailing this person they don't know kind of way. Literally right behind them. Yeah. Only other car on the road.
100%. Like you said, no extras could be afforded. So no cars on the road. And then all of a sudden they lose the car. And they're like, oh, where'd they go? And now they're behind them. And they like try and run them off the road. And I guess successfully do.
Yes.
And send them into a crash. Cut to, also, we will see the car later. There's 0 damage on this car.
Yeah, none.
They couldn't afford it. But so they like kind of walk up the road, I guess.
Yeah, they walk up. They crashed literally right outside where the cult's where Swift Current is. They're just like, oh, okay, I guess we're at the cult.
Just so you know, we're here, so it's fine.
Yeah.
And they go in there and he's like getting initiated or whatever. And
I want to point out the attire of this cult, which is legitimately all blue dress shirts and khaki pants.
Yeah, it was like they were like, well, we can't do white shirts and black pants because that'll be too like it'll look
Mormon-y.
Exactly. It won't be a
but
good
like
look.
most cults are like hippie-ish, especially this one is very new agey. But they're just
like the leader guy has like a smock on and stuff. Like it's very strange. And
I feel like they were just like, listen, everyone owns. We're working with a lot of office people. They all own this. Let's just please bring your own wardrobe.
Yeah, for sure. And one guy's like, I have 20 blue dress shirts. And they're like, okay, that'll work. So, he's like in the middle of getting initiated into the group.
Paige looks so confused.
Yeah, well, because they're also like, renounce your past, your evils. And the daughter's like, Daddy? And they're like, take her out of here. And like Rachel grabs her into a back room.
As far as we can tell, literally no one has said anything to the daughter up to this point.
She looked terrified the entire time they were in like custody of this cult. And he didn't seem to mind at all. And then this is like one of my favorite parts is the programmer guy and the wife show up to the building and he's like, you see these 2 security guards literally as close as me and Rory are together, both on walkie-talkie. And then the guy's like, okay, I'll distract them. You go save your family, right? And he like calls over to them. He's like, hey, you guys, remember when I escaped from here and kicked your asses? And they're both like, you son of a bitch. And then you just hear like a scuffle sound as the wife makes a break for it.
We do not see them actually fight because they could not afford people who knew fight choreography.
Definitely not. Oh man.
The wife interrupts the ceremony. And then she goes up to him and she starts blaming herself for having him join this cult.
It's so insane.
She's straight up just like, I wasn't there enough for you. I wasn't listening enough to you. I'm so sorry.
I never listened to your dreams or your goals. And they're like, it's a trick. She's lying to you.
We are your family now.
And she pulls off the ring and is like, you know what? Yes, I'm going to let you free. We didn't see the world the same way. I'm so sorry. And gives him the ring. But she's like, I'm taking my daughter, though.
Yeah.
And then, she also now, because she goes to get the daughter, and she's like, wait, Rachel's in this cult? You mean I was the one who accidentally told the cult people where we were? Oh, shit. And, and then because Rachel, I think, says to the daughter, she's like, she's too smart for a normal life.
Yes.
And they're like, and then what's his face? Dude, deprogrammer guy comes back in.
Yeah.
It looks like they're about to murder this family. I don't know. They're kind of enclosing on them.
Yes. Yeah. Because he's now, Lachlan has been like,
he came up and he ripped off his necklace.
He ripped off his necklace, which I'm pretty sure is just a cross. It's just a Christian cross necklace.
Could be.
Yeah.
And so he's on their side and the
deprogrammer shows up.
They're escaping through the kitchen. They come face to face with these chefs.
Yes.
And there's like a brief standoff where you're like, are they part of the cult? And you just see this one guy slowly reach for a giant knife. It's like, okay, they are. And then, dude comes in with his phone on, and he's like,
I'm streaming this. I'm streaming all of this.
Yeah. And then so they make a run for it. The slowest chase through the woods I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God, it's so slow.
They're like jogging pace. It's so funny. And
they get in their car and they start driving, and the cults all start walking on the road.
They are in the road.
In the middle of the road. Basically, Red Rover with again the slowest car.
When you initially said your favorite part of the movie, this was what I was thinking, because this lady full tilt presses on the gas and just is like, all right, if I run them over, okay. And they're like, oh my God, and dive out of the way.
Oh, we really thought they were going to stop.
And I was again like, hell yeah, win. This is great. And I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Threat's over.
Threat's over.
Yeah.
Cut to 6 months later, and they're reopening Connor's ad services.
Connor's Collective. Because also this is so it's called Connor's Collective or whatever, and the logo is 3 C's. So I'm like, is company in there, or like they never mention it? I don't know. It seems like an oversight.
The only one in this movie. And they're reopening the business, and he's
relaunch.
And
because we're not only relaunching the business, we're relaunching our marriage.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And then so I guess the big payoff was he's like, let me give you back this significant piece of metal.
But I want to point out, there was more people in this scene than we've ever met before.
That's true. They wasted all the extras on this day.
When they said, we're relaunching our marriage, half the people, they don't know what you're talking about. They look so confused.
Yeah, we see, the neighbors are there. They hired Bonnie back.
Yeah, Bonnie's back.
The wife's a partner, like you were saying now.
Yeah.
And,
he's out of the cult as quickly as he got into the cult.
Yeah. Was the message of this movie... let your husband get some of his wins, or otherwise he might join a cult?
Yeah, I think this message is basically just you don't know what you're talking about, lady. He needs to be a star.
Right. It was so strange. Weird Lifetime movie.
What are we going to give this on our letterbox there, Josh?
I would give it a 2.
I'd say... 2. I'll give it a 2.
Yeah,
Lachlan Monroe, I always enjoy seeing him pop up.
Like I said, I like the actors.
Actors did okay, but...
there was some funny parts. I don't know if they were meant to be funny, but...
No, absolutely not.
Also, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I got distracted a lot throughout this movie because I was like, I feel like I've watched porns in this house. I'm sure I've seen the start of a scene in that kitchen, and I've definitely seen that sectional at the start. It was odd.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean California. That's where a lot of it's got to be, right?
It's a famous house. The most famous thing about this movie.
Yeah. So
all right, folks. That was Out of Reach. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you guys enjoy this, please share the podcast with anyone you feel would enjoy it. You can also email us at Absolutely Obscure Podcast. If you guys do with any comments or anything, we'll read them out.
Yeah, we haven't got any. So
they'll please
be on the show.
Please, we're begging you. You can follow us at Absolutely Obscure Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, all of the places.
Or individually at the True Rory and Real Funny Josh.
Thank you to our producer, Aaron Campbell, handsomest man in comedy. And thank you to Matt Prince for our theme music. All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks.
Bye.